Early in my teaching career, I didn't see teaching as ministry. Um, the first school that I taught at was an international school in China. And people are always like, "Oh, so were you like an undercover missionary there?" And I was like, I'm kind of ashamed about it, but that was like never on the front of my mind. It wasn't like, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to go to China and I'm going to like, teaching's going to be my secret in." And I was just a teacher in a school, and it wasn't on my radar. And then I remember going to my next school that was in Texas, and I really clearly remember one time at a staff meeting, one of my coworkers we were talking about volunteering at church, serving in church, and she said, "Well, I don't do that because I'm doing ministry all week here at school," and that didn't sound right to me, but I was like, I don't know why that doesn't sound right to me. And so then what happened is I left the classroom for 3 years, and we went and did college campus ministry. And so then it was like, I'm an official, support raising missionary, right? But I was still JV squad because I wasn't an international missionary. I was domestic, I was stateside. So, there's all these levels that we like build for ourselves and our view of what's real kingdom work, and they're distractions. It's where am I right now? Who's my sphere of influence, and how am I pointing them to Christ? Like whether I'm a missionary or I'm a teacher in a school, whether it's a Christian school or not, whatever my role is, that's kind of the realization that I've had is because I'm not a full-time teacher anymore. And I still, I get to interact with our international students, and that's foreign missions brought to my door. And so my interactions with those students, I'm one of the main Christians that they know in their life, along with their host families and hopefully some of their peers. And so there's all of these, I think, fake titles and levels that we give to what is ministry. And when we do that, then we end up always minimizing ourselves and making ourselves not feel important, or we overinflate ourselves, and then we're just arrogant, and that defeats the purpose as well. So I think a big part of it is just reminding myself each day, if I need it, or however often it is. I don't usually remind myself each day. I probably need to, that what I'm doing matters in the way that I interact with people, in the way that am I reflecting Christ? Are they actually seeing Jesus in what I'm doing, or are they seeing David trying to control something or manipulate something or make something work out? Whatever my role is. And so I don't need to say, well, I'm not going to volunteer on Sunday because I'm doing ministry all week. My whole life ought to be ministry. And so whether I'm volunteering at church or in the community or whatever, those are all an important part of how we do things. I think that this generation coming up, they can just be so passionate about a cause. When something grabs their heart, they will pursue it, and they get so excited about it, and they will do great and amazing things in the pursuit of that. They sometimes lack the longevity to stick with it and see it through all the way, but they are really good at understanding what a cause is, that it's a worthy cause, and getting behind it. And so when we can convince them or help them to see, train them to understand that the gospel is a cause that's worth fighting for, to be inspired for, they can do great things with that. And so I think that's one thing when I think about this generation is, let's get them excited about something, and then let's do what we can to foster a matured sustaining of that enthusiasm and commitment to that cause. Because I think they'll buy into that. I think they can. I don't think they're always going to be flitting around from thing to thing. The other thing I get excited about with this generation is that they don't seem to carry as much of the baggage with regard to racial reconciliation as a generation. They're just more open to understanding and seeing ways that the gospel makes a difference there. And I think that's a progression of time. I don't think that they're going to be a non-racist society or something like that, but I think that they're just willing to say, well, I don't get why we had those social barriers, why we constructed those systems. So let's not do them anymore. Let's find a better way. And I really think that this generation, they can do that with a lot of kind of the social ills that our country has dealt with and wrestled with over the years. So I think that they're well positioned to take a next step with that stuff, because they don't have the baggage. They don't let it drag them down. So.